All right. So which role of relationships are you ready to release attachment to? Which role or relationship are you ready to release attachment to? Anybody? Oh, is that a cap you're putting on? I love that. Okay, so can we talk a little bit more about the role that you've adopted to not be that, to not, because that was a choice you made along the way, right? Yeah, survival. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's beautiful. So, can I ask you this follow-up question? What does it mean, or what would it mean for you to be soft? Because you said you want to be. That's a role that you would like to be. What does it mean for you to be that? Right. Detach from it. Yeah. 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 So honestly, I mean, oh, that's a deep dive. That's, I mean, yeah, please, because
I
I,
can concur with her on that. It's almost like identical
mm,
what she said.
mm,
But
beautiful.
survival.
Yeah.
I really want to take out that one.
So what's been compromised by being that person?
That led to that.
No,
No.
what is it that you are experiencing now? Because remember, we have this beautiful gift to say, it's okay because this is what I have to do. It's okay because this is what I have to do. What are you experiencing in terms of compromise of yourself? What do you, how, am I saying this right? What is your cost? What is the cost for you?
Serenity, peace, tranquility, those things.
Okay.
And really, I think peace for me, that's like the freedom I'm looking for.
Yeah.
That being, but it's like and I'll add to it. It's the chase after uh, the goals that I've set for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told me this a while back, and I never even really realized it. But now I'm coming to grips that I'm thinking that maybe what it is, that I'm so hard on myself, and I'm trying to not really prove to other people, but really prove to myself that I'm great. And I'm not.
That you're what?
That I'm great.
Oh yeah.
That I'm accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I had a problem. They go, you down deep. That's what you know,
Yeah.
because I'm in such right now, like survival,
Mm-hmm.
this role. I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta make this happen, I gotta make this happen, I gotta make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
Feed the family. It's me. I'm called to
Yeah.
the family.
Yeah.
That's the role.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stuff like that. Sometimes I'm like, God, I don't really want that.
But let's be fair. God didn't give you that role.
Okay.
Let's be fair.
And April, look, he's like, what's it back? You are so right.
God didn't give you that role.
I've given myself that.
And that's attached to whatever reason you felt you had to do that, or who you saw do it, or where it came from. It's all connected to something that has been from these constructs in this system that we're here in, right? You need to identify with what freedom means to you, and what that looks like, what that feels like. I mean, because you need to make it principle in your life, so that you start giving it precedence. You start giving it priority in a way that says, you're constantly asking yourself, if I don't have this in my life, what does that look like? If I'm not if I'm not identified as this, or if I'm not defined as this, or if people don't see me this way, what does that look like? What does that mean for me? In other words, what does it mean? What happens? Do you feel unworthy? Do you die? I mean, what's the worst? What happens if you can no longer have these roles that have defined you? What if you strip those away? What you're left with, are you okay with that? Will you be okay with that? I mean, that's the question. Will you be okay with that? And same with you. Will you be okay with that? If you decided, I don't want to be in control anymore, and I don't want to, and I mean, of course, it's not that simple. I'm going to just say I don't want to be in control anymore. But can you imagine what your life would look, feel, and be like if you literally took those and just like detached them from you? I don't want you anymore. And what are you left with? Could you be okay with that? Could you be okay with the person that's left, with the identity that's left? And if you can't, then yeah, that's where the work lies. But that's the question. I said that's where the work lies. There lies the work. But if you can look at,
You gotta ask yourself, well, what is it all for?
because ultimately someone might say, after all that's stripped away, I'm nobody. Who am I? I'm nobody. I've been this person for 50 plus years or whatever. I'm nobody. That's scary. That's a scary reality to kind of look on and be like, oh my God, this was what made my spine stand straight, Like, who am I now? But
Truths in parts of things that you are, it might just be a little bit more like survival. It's not all just survival. It can be also like because you are a caring individual, and that's part of,
I agree.
you know what I mean? That's part of the type of life you want to live.
I agree.
At this moment, this kind of ecosystem that we live in, you have to do certain things that takes you away from who you are. So
Right.
it's like a yes and, right? Like it's not fully. I think maybe baby steps towards what is the opposite, or even just being honest.
That's all it.
Being honest with what that is, and then the people that are around you, yeah, like yeah.
Yeah, no. And you're absolutely right. But that's just it. That is exactly what it is. It's the truth. It's the truth. If you are just a very generous person and you give because you love to give, and the end result, the truth is that that's what makes me feel, that's part of who I am. But if it's connected to, if it's attached to, if it's tied to, because it's going to make people love me more, it makes me feel, then that's where the disconnect is. It is nothing wrong with having these things as part of your identity, but if the truth is not being identified, that's where the problem lies, right? So when we go back to that question, when you remove all of these attachments, what are you left with? Ultimately you want to be able to say, but I can live with myself. There is integrity in who I am, right? Because now I'm not compromising myself. I'm not being and doing all these things because I'm looking for something outside of me, right?